You know that drawer, right? The one where all the old, forgotten remote controls go to die? Well, what if I told you that today we're going to give one of them a brand new purpose? We're going to unlock its hidden potential and give it a totally custom job. I mean, just imagine taking this thing, this remote from an old TV or some random gadget, and turning it into the command center for your next big DIY project. What if you could tell it exactly what you wanted it to do? Well, the awesome news is you totally can. And you don't need to be some kind of engineering wizard to make it happen. It's actually way simpler than you might think. So let's break it all down step by step and turn this old piece of plastic into a powerful custom controller. All right, first up, let's talk about the hardware. You only need 3 key players to bring this project to life. Okay, so here's your toolkit. Think of it like a little team. The ESP32, that's the brain. It's doing all the thinking. Then you've got this IR receiver module. That's the ear, and it's just listening for instructions. And finally, any old IR remote you have lying around, that's going to be our voice shouting out the commands. Okay, time to get our hands dirty and wire this all together. Now, I know what you might be thinking, ugh, wiring. But trust me, it's not scary at all. We're literally just connecting 3 little wires. Seriously, look how simple this is. You just connect the receiver's ground pin to the ESP32's ground. Easy. Then you connect VCC, which is just the power pin, to the 3.3-volt pin on the ESP32. And last but not least, the signal pin from the receiver plugs right into pin 15 on the ESP32. Now, we're using pin 15 here, but honestly, a bunch of other pins would work just fine. And that's it. Hardware's done. See? Told you it was easy. All right, our circuit is built. Now it's time to jump into the software side of things. We've got to teach our ESP32 brain how to actually understand what the remote's voice is telling its ear. So first things first, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to use something called a library, which is basically a bunch of pre-written code that does all the heavy lifting for us. It's super helpful. All you have to do is pop open the Arduino IDE and install a library called IR Remote ESP8266. And hey, quick tip, don't let that name throw you off. Yep, it says ESP8266, but it works perfectly with our more powerful ESP32. Okay, check this out. This one little line of code right here, this is the absolute magic. It's the core of the whole listening program. It's basically an if statement that's just constantly asking, hey, did you hear anything? Did you get a signal? And the moment it does, bam, it grabs all that data and stuffs it into a little container we're calling results. So what's it actually capturing? It's something called a hexadecimal code. Now, that sounds fancy, but really, just think of it as a unique name tag or a secret password for every single button on your remote. The on button has one code, the off button has another, they're all unique. And we use hexadecimal just because it's a really clean, short way to write out the long, messy strings of ones and zeros that are actually being sent through the air. And this is the cool part. When you run the code and open up the serial monitor, you can see this happen in real time. Go ahead, press the power button on your remote. see its unique code pop up, something like FFE21D. Press the off button, and you'll get a totally different code. Just like that, we can now tell exactly which button is being pressed. All right, this is where it all comes together. We've captured the codes. Now we get to turn those codes into real-world action. This is the part where we tell our ESP32 brain what to do when it hears a specific command. So what we're doing is creating a simple logic map, just a set of rules. We're telling our program, plain and simple, hey, when you see the code FFE21D, I want you to perform the action turn LED on. And if you see the code FF22DD, you guess it, turn LED off. Now, in the actual code, that logic map looks like this. Another if statement. It's just checking if the code it received matches the one we're looking for. But here's a super important detail, a little gotcha you have to remember. When you write a hexadecimal number in your code, you have to put 0x in front of it. If you forget that little 0x, the code just isn't going to work. And if that code is a match, we tell the ESP32 what to do. For our on code, we use the digital write function to send a high signal to the little onboard LED. Think of high as on. And for the off code, we send a low signal. Think of low as off. It's that direct. You press the button, the code matches, the light turns on or off. You've programmed it from start to finish. And just like that, you did it. You've officially taken a regular old remote control that was probably just collecting dust and turned it into a totally custom controller for your project. You press on, the light comes on. You press off, the light goes off. How cool is that? But here's the thing, a blinking light is just the beginning, right? We're just scratching the surface. The main takeaway here is that you now have the key to unlock any old remote for any project. So now that you know how, what are you going to control? Maybe an RGB light strip or the speed of a motor. I mean, the possibilities are, and I mean this, totally endless.